The Midori Traveler's Notebook is pretty cool. You can arrange multiple notebooks inside the leather flap with the rubber bands that you can buy from Midori, but there's also some alternative ways you can arrange it. So that's what I'm going to cover in today's video. Hey there, I'm Brian Goulet of the Goulet Pen Company and Ink Nouveau. And since I did an overview video of the Midori Traveler's Notebook, I've gotten a lot of feedback about ways to arrange notebooks in here. In the original video that I did, I covered the official Midori way of using the rubber bands and arranging your multiple notebooks inside the leather Traveler's Notebook. But I've got some really cool ideas for ways that you can arrange the notebooks that don't even involve the rubber bands. So I thought it was worth sharing, so I put it together in this video for you here today. So here is my Midori Traveler's Notebook. It's a passport size, the smaller size, but the same concepts I'm going to show you here work on the larger, the regular size Traveler's Notebook. Basically, the arrangement of what comes with the leather Traveler's Notebook is you get a single notebook held by an elastic strap. It's got a bookmarker and it has an elastic enclosure that can close the whole thing up. Very cool, very functional, but the coolest and most functional part of this notebook is that you can actually put multiple notebooks in it. So the official way that Midori says to do it is to actually get the Traveler's Notebook rubber bands. They come in a 4-pack, and if you want to put more than one notebook, you basically to put a single one in here, you put it in here like so. And the way that Midori says to do it is if you have another notebook like this one, you can put them together, grab both of the binding, or both of the middles of the notebook, I guess, take the rubber band, put it in the middle, and you have your two notebooks bound together. Okay, that's the basic concept. My rubber band's all twisted, but you know, you get the idea. So then you have your rubber band holding your two notebooks together. Okay, so that's kind of cool. But the other way you can do it is to actually take the first notebook out completely and take the two notebooks and do the rubber band trick outside of the leather piece, right? So grab where it's stapled or bound in the middle, put the elastics together, and then take a whole notebook and feed it underneath the strap. That way, oh boy, I'm getting caught on the other strap. Okay, that way you don't have this elastic strap in the middle of any of your notebooks. It's only the rubber band. So you've got the rubber band in the middle of each of your two notebooks, and the strap is in between them. So it's going to look kind of like that, and the strap is going to be only holding the rubber band. Still very secure. I wouldn't worry too much about carrying that around. So that's an alternate way you can do it with the rubber band. And if you want to do a third notebook, it's easy from this step because basically you can just take a third notebook, put it around the elastic in between the other two notebooks, and you end up with this, or the sandwich as I like to call it. Because I think it looks like if you make a sandwich with bread and meat and no fixings, that's what this looks like. So I didn't have any lettuce today when I made my sandwich, so I called it a Midori sandwich. But anyway, so that's the basic idea of what Midori tells you to do with the rubber band, which is cool. But if you don't have a rubber band, it can be kind of annoying to pay, you know, several dollars to get this specific rubber band. Or if you try to get it from a retailer, like me or somebody else, and they're out of stock, that can be kind of annoying. So you don't actually need this rubber band. If you want to use it, you can. It's fine. It's great. It makes it easy. But you can actually use the notebook just fine without it. So I've got my notebook that comes with it, and that I'm going to put back in place on the elastic strap just like so. Okay. So this is how it's going to come. Oh, I got my bookmarker all mixed in there. So I've got my notebook, it's in the elastic strap. You may have noticed there's this other kind of strap here too. Now what that is that's just the same elastic strap that is fed back through the notebook, so you don't have this big piece of elastic going on the outside. So they kind of feed it back through. So one alternative that you can do if you don't have the rubber band and you want to add a second notebook is you can actually put it in here. Now if you look, this strap is not nearly as long as the notebook itself. So what you got to do is you got to take and grab the bottom, the strap on the bottom, and kind of pull it through, okay, to give yourself some slack. So you're tightening up the strap that's in the other notebook and trying to free up some slack on the other one. And then once you've got enough, it's going to be a tight fit, but you can actually take your second notebook and feed it through that elastic strap. Okay, now the only weird thing about that is it's going to be able to move up and down like this depending on how it's sitting in the strap. So it's something you're going to have to watch out for just a little bit, you know, when you're doing it. But it makes it so that you didn't have to pay anything extra, and you have two notebooks chilling in your traveler's notebook, which is kind of cool. If you don't want to do that whole strap thing, you don't have to. Another alternative is you can just take a second notebook and tuck it behind the original. Okay, so you've basically got one notebook inside the other. Now, depending on how you use it, this may be kind of weird for you, but if you're using the same rulings, it may not make much of a difference. Heck, if you wanted to, you could even tear the cover off of the inside notebook, and then it would make it a little more seamless transition. So that's another alternative that you can do. And also, if you wanted to do a third notebook with this arrangement, you could keep this notebook tucked like this, and then you could still do the strap on the other notebook to put a third one in here. So now I have a notebook on the second strap here, and I have kind of a piggyback sandwich looking notebook situation on the other strap. So now I've got three notebooks in here, and I did not have to buy any rubber bands in order to make it happen. So that is one way to do it. Depending on your individual preferences, you may or may not be crazy about sandwiching the notebooks like that or doing this kind of thing. But if so, I have another alternative for you. I'm going to get it back to its natural state here. There we go, single notebook. The original packaging that comes with this notebook looks like this. It's a box, and it has an elastic strap that keeps the box closed. Well, you can actually reuse this elastic strap. I'm going to pull it out of the box. Okay, it's just knotted, it pulls right out. And you can actually, it fits on the notebook. So you can use it as an additional strap here. So if you wanted to do a two notebook arrangement and you don't want to have that tight strap on the second one, if you want to reuse the strap that comes on the outside of the box, it does have this big knot, but you can tighten that up, cut that down a little bit if you want to make it a little more seamless. That's totally up to you. But then you have an additional strap, and you can take a second notebook and stick it in here like so. Okay, and then it's not going to move back and forth very much like it would on the tighter one. Okay, so then you've got a two notebook arrangement there with an extra strap. The only thing is, then you're going to have an additional strap on the outside, which kind of, you know, originally that's why they put the strap kind of poking back through, is so you don't end up with this kind of thing. But that may or may not bother you. That's totally up to you. And then you can also kind of combine this with the other strap here, going back to it. So if you want to do, let's see if I can make this happen. Pulling it back through. If I want to take a third notebook and stick it in here. So now, using no rubber band whatsoever, I do not have to piggyback any notebooks onto each other. Using the strap from the outside of the box and the secondary strap that's in here, I can actually make it so that I have three notebooks in my traveler's notebook without having to purchase anything additional in order to do the binding. Of course, you've got to purchase the additional notebooks because it only comes with the one, but as long as you've got the notebooks, you're good to go. So I just thought that was kind of cool. You know, obviously you can still use the rubber band if you want to. It's totally up to you. But I do like the different notebook arrangement because, you know, me personally, I keep a blank, a lined, and a graph, you know, for different needs, or if you keep different subjects or different, you know, places that you travel or whatever the case may be. There's just so many ways to arrange these Midori notebooks. It's really kind of cool. So thought this would be helpful to you, some good information. You can, you know, kind of play around with it. If I didn't cover anything, I would love to know what additional notebook arrangements you might have come up with too, because these are all more or less ideas that I got from Traveler's Notebook fans and ones that I kind of put together myself as well. So I just thought it was kind of fun to share. If you've got any questions about the Midori Traveler's Notebook or anything else, hit me up on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube comments, whatever. I'd be happy to help you out. Thanks for spending time with me today and watching my video, and right on.